and good afternoon. My name is Linda Chambers. I am going to be showing you a short video on Microsoft versus Linux security issues and vulnerabilities. So, Microsoft. What is Microsoft? Microsoft's an operating system that requires its users to have license keys for activations and uses. It's a closed-source operating system. It can be installed on computer hardware, mobile phones, tablets, and video game consoles, desktop computers, mainframes, and supercomputers. Linux? What is Linux? It's a computer operating system which is based on free and open source software. Linux can be installed on computer hardware, mobile phones, tablets, routers, and video game consoles, desktop computers, mainframes, and computers. So, Windows versus Linux security. Windows has so many attacks because there are more Windows installations than Linux. There are more people that uses Windows than there are Linux users. Linux is a complicated, for advanced users, operating system. Open source is naturally less secure because malicious hackers can find flaws more easily. There are more security alerts for Linux than for Windows, therefore Linux is less secure, in my opinion. And there is a longer time between the discovery of a flaw and a patch for the flaw with Windows than there is in Linux. So, open versus closed. Windows, which is a closed-source operating system, can only be fixed. The problems with Windows can only be fixed by Microsoft-employed programmers. Therefore, you will have to wait for patches and/or service packs. You'll have to wait for updating, and you'll have to update. And only pros can debug Microsoft products, which in my opinion would make Microsoft a little more safer than Linux. Linux is an open source operating system. Anyone with programming experience can fix the problems and submit them for future changes. So, this is just my opinion, which, common sense will tell you. People can write hidden malicious programs within the code, the source code for Linux, that eventually will destroy your computer. Only in my opinion, though, there are lots of mean, hateful people in this world, and they would do that. So, malware. Malware, which is malicious software, it consists of programming which is designed to disrupt or deny operation. It gathers information that leads to the loss of privacy or exploitation, gains authorized access to system resources, and other abusive behavior. Well over 2 million malware programs target Windows, and more than 800 pieces of Linux malware have been discovered. So there are more malicious programs for Windows than there are Linux. Response speed or response time. Windows is closed sourced. It offers a faster and more effective response time to security issues. So, like critical bugs are released only once a month after extensive programming and testing, and certain bugs have been known to go unpatched for months or even years. Linux. In the Linux operating system, bugs can be fixed and rolled out within a day of being reported, often within hours. Though usually it takes a few weeks before the patch is available on all distributions of the Linux operating system. Again, like I said, I would rather have a actual professional person that works for Microsoft Windows or for the operating system that I am using to repair my operating system than I would have, some person who's got programming skills to write a program. So, downtime for patches and updates. In Windows, Microsoft has its hot patching technology, which is designed to reduce downtimes, and reboots are usually required after system and driver updates. But in Linux itself needs to restart only for kernel updates. However, there's a special utility, kexic, that is used to load the new kernel and execute it without a reboot. For minor updates such as security fixes, ksplice allows the Linux kernel to be patched without a reboot. In other words, if you get a patch or an update, you most likely will have to reboot with Windows. However, the hot patching technology doesn't require you to reboot after all updates or patches. And Linux, of course, you don't have to have a restart. You will have to have a restart for kernel updates. User accounts. In Windows Vista or Windows Microsoft products, all logged in sessions run with standard user permissions, which prevents malicious programs and inexperienced users from gaining total control of the system. In Linux, however, errors done with these elevated privileges can lead to severe damage to your system, which could be a huge problem. Software applications. Apache is one of the most popular HTTP software, and it runs on both operating systems, Linux and Microsoft Windows. But what's important is what server to pick can also be determined by what technology is best suited for the business. In Linux, any cross-platform scripting language such as PHP or a database system such as MySQL tends to be more compatible with Linux. Microsoft, however, third-party developers don't have access to Windows source code, which means Microsoft has the advantage when it comes to making their services more compatible with the server's operating system. So you need to contact for help on either one of these systems. In Microsoft, you would have to contact Microsoft or OEM, and it's usually going to cost you a fee unless your system is under warranty. In Linux, you can contact Red Hat, Novel, and there are some other major distributors. Some are free service support, and some of them you have to pay for, but they are available to users on both operating systems. Patching. Patching is inevitable with either Windows or Linux. Microsoft is the only source to issue Windows patches. Linux, you have to decide whether to go to an open source entity for patches, for instance, the one for OpenSSH, or you will need to wait until a commercial Linux provider such as Red Hat provides a patch. So I recommend Windows again. My conclusions: I personally favor Windows because it's much easier to use. It seems more safer to me. With Windows being required to be debugged or fixed, the problems fixed only through Windows people, it makes it more safer for me. And yes, I would recommend, if you're going to pay a lot of money for something, either way, you would want to pay for the one that's more known and easily used. However, Linux seems to be safer than Windows in some cases. Either route you go, I recommend backing up your information on an external hard drive, such as on an external device, such as an external hard drive or flash drives, just in case something happens to your system. It's always nice to have a backup copy of all your work. Otherwise, you're going to be sitting and typing and typing and typing and typing and typing and trying to catch things up. So, like I said, I would recommend to use Windows Server. So, thank you very much. This is Linda Chambers. This is fall of 2011 at Rockingham Community College, NOS 230, Section 40, and Windows Admin 1. I hope that you enjoyed my video. If you have any questions or need additional information, feel free to look it up on google.com, or you can go to YouTube and watch millions of videos of comparisons of Linux versus Windows operating systems. Thank you, and have a great day. Bye.